Hey everybody, this is Brian at the Edison Pen Company. I hope that you guys are doing really well. I thought I would do a quick Periscope session here to show you some of the pens that we'll be bringing at DC. And then also, if you have any questions in general about pen shows, let me know. I know that not everybody can get to a pen show. Hi from New Hampshire, how you doing? Very good. So hey, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys the pens that we're going to bring to the DC Pen Show. Now, one thing that I wanted to discuss is that this camera is not the greatest quality, and I realize that. For that reason, more pneumatic overlay pens. I've heard that a couple of times now. I think we better get to work on that. Hi everybody. Hi from Long Island. Hi from Panama. Thanks everybody. So, anyways, the quality of this camera is certainly not the greatest, and I understand that. So, if you check out our website in about 3 hours, I'm going to have a video of HD quality, you know, with a better camera, and it's going to show all these pens really close up. So if you have any questions about pen shows in general or about what I'm about to show you, just let me know. Looking forward to your visit with Goulet's later in the week. Yes, actually, if you guys don't know this, thank you, Mike, for mentioning that. If you guys don't know this, we are leaving for the DC Pen Show a day early, and the reason is we're going to visit the Goulet Pen Company. So expect to see some Edison Pen Company coverage via Goulet and some Goulet Pen Company coverage via Edison. So we'll probably do a Periscope session while we're there. I'm sure that I'll get some photos, some videos, all that kind of cool stuff. So you'll have some joint Edison Goulet goodness this week. It should be really cool. That would be a great video with the Goulets. Yes, I agree. So I'll tell you what, let me switch my camera around and I'll show you the Brian Summit. I like that. Very good. The Brian Summit. Alright, let me switch the camera around and I'll show you what we'll be bringing to DC. Hang on. Alright. So, here we have, these are going to be the pearls that we're bringing. If anybody sees a material that really strikes them, let me know. I'll do my best to maybe single it out for you. And we actually went through, Jake, Wendy, my wife, and myself, the 4 people that run here, that run this place and that make your pens. We all picked out 4 of our favorites. So I'm going to show those at the end as well. So I just showed you pearls over here, and over here are Glenmonts. And like I said, this is not the best quality. In about 2 or 3 hours, check out our website. I'll have an HD video of this showing you all these in much better quality. The purple ones are nice, I agree. Actually, we set aside a nice purple one, similar to this right here, that my wife really loves, and I'll show you that one in a second. Not this, but it's really similar. My wife is crazy for the one that I'll show you in a second, but hang on. The yellow one below, this one here, that's actually one that we set aside as well. That is Wendy's personal favorite. And you know what? I can't remember what we call that. I think it's just like an opaque yellow swirl. I'm not sure. Here we have converter filling Beaumonts. Fat Tire says, sure makes selecting one difficult. I realize that. That's probably the only complaint that we get here, is that every so often we hear there's just way too much to choose from. And it's kind of interesting too, because of all the wild and silly and crazy materials that we have at our disposal, sometimes the most uncommon request that I get is just a good old black pen. Just regular old solid black. We hardly ever get that order, and I think it's because when people think about Edison, they think about, you know, if I'm going to get an Edison pen, I want to get like, you know, some kind of crazy wild color, which is great. What is the MSRP on them? Depending upon whether you want steel nib, gold nib, or a converter filler versus an exotic filling system, the prices are going to range anywhere from $200 to $450. So like our least expensive steel nibbed pen here will be about $200. Our most expensive pen with a gold nib and a more exotic filling system such as a pump filler, bulb filler, pneumatic filler, that'll be max $450. With the exception of the overlay pens are a little more expensive. So here we have translucent Menlos. Now these have been really, really popular. What's really cool about these is that you can see right through the pen. So this camera might not do much justice, but imagine that pen filled with ink. and that pen sloshing around, you know, having ink slosh around. And then also when you fill it, you can watch that ink pop up into this barrel and, you know, come out the breather tube and spill into the reservoir. It's really, really very cool. This is a Menlo, and we call this like a purple swirl translucent. So actually this entire row here is all swirl translucents. They've been real popular. This is one of, actually, well, I'll get to that one in a second. This crazy pink, people have been really enjoying this also. That's a great material. This amber is a little bit more subtle, maybe not so loud. What is that filling system and how much? This filling system is a pump filler. It's basically designed after the Parker Vacuumatic, and it is 350 with a steel nib or 450 with an 18 karat nib. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. If you unscrew the blind cap, then you can see that this is the mechanism. You push that mechanism and there's a diaphragm inside that creates compression and vacuum, and that's what draws ink up into the breather tube. Very cool. I'd say that the Menlo pump filler has probably been our most popular model, and these translucent swirls here especially. Now over here are Menlos that are a little less flashy. How long has your family been doing this? Well, I've been doing this, the whole business started as me, just basically with a metal lathe and a garage, and that was probably about 10 years ago, and then I went full-time with it a couple years after that, so it's been like a full-time thing for the last 8 years, and then just in the last 4 or 5 years we brought on people like Jake, that we see over here, and people like Wendy over here, and then my wife is actually in the house right now. She's not here right now, but there's 4 of us full-time that make these pens. So here's the Menlos that are opaque. You know, you're not going to see the ink through those. And then here's some Menlos with ink view barrels. And then these ones have been really cool, really popular also because they're basically like demonstrators, but without any swirl, without any pattern, and they're just solid. So it's almost like a demonstrator with character, or like a colored demonstrator. And then over here are clipless pearlettes, and then standard pearlettes with clips. Over here are 100% American made, including the raw materials. The raw materials either come from, typically Italy is where we get most of these materials. So the raw materials, no. The nibs, no. Everything else is 100% USA. This one is wild. I'm wondering who's going to pick out this in DC. And so these are standard length Minas. These are extended length Minas. And then Morgan's over here. A couple of custom Encores. And here are some Hurons. And then Premiers. On up to Heralds. And then, actually, wait, my wife is here. I just said, Andrea, hey, she's out here now. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Just showing off the pens. And then what we did is we actually set aside, do you have any clear ones, as in demonstrators? You know what, we don't. We don't have too many demonstrators that we keep in inventory, but we make them custom. So if you ever wanted a demonstrator, you can find them. If you want to go to our galleries and just type in demonstrator in the search window, you'll see lots of demonstrators that we've done. So here, we have 4 pens that the 4 of us picked out. This is Jake's favorite, and this is a Collier made out of pearlized wine. Now, some of you might remember that we did a limited edition, was it a Glenmont, as the group buy, last year, that was out of this pearlized wine. Now, this is one of our favorites, and I think you can see, if I rotate this in the light, it has a ton of pearlization. This is one material that has so much depth to it, it's really stunning. This is probably the one material that we have that really does show the most pearlization, depth, or the real term is chatoyance, if you want to look that one up, C-H-A-T-O-Y-A-N-C-E. So that's Jake's favorite, which is a Collier in pearlized wine. Now, Wendy's favorite is this this really, you know what, the lighting is not great here. Let me get, this is a Mina in a opaque yellow swirl that I also like. We haven't used this a lot, and it really is bright and it's eye-catching. Very cool. Banana yellow, that's great. That's probably what we ought to name it. I'm not even sure what we've named this material. What's this called, Andrea? Do you remember? No? We don't have a name for it yet. All right. Well, we'll name it. Now, Andrea picked out this one. This is a Beaumont in what we call blurple because it's like a blue and a purple all together. Minion yellow. Tom Otto said it's minion yellow. Tom Otto said it's minion yellow, that yellow one. Yeah. So this is like a purple and a blue. I think you can see that light actually goes through it a little bit. So there's going to have a little bit of translucent qualities, but that's definitely a really cool one. And then my favorite is this real striking yellow. I love this, and I think you can see the same as the other Menlos. Your ink is going to be visible right through that, and watching this pen fill is really cool. The only problem I would have with this is trying to find, I mean, there just aren't any really great yellow inks. I mean, well, sure there are, but finding a yellow ink that would still be really vibrant would be difficult, because I don't think I could possibly put blue ink in this pen, but there's got to be some good yellow inks out there. Alright, so there's our favorites. If anybody has questions about pen shows, let me know. Otherwise, we might... How about traditional pens with the same outer housings? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Traditional pens with the same outer housings. Do you mean just using like regular black material? I'm not sure that I understand the question. If you can rephrase it, I'll do my best. But anyways, if anybody has questions about pen shows, let me know. Otherwise, we might sign off here pretty soon. This is what we'll be bringing to DC. Translucent Menlos are the way to go over demos. I agree, if you ask me. You know, it's like a Menlo. I'm sorry, it's like a demonstrator with character. Oh, probably means a converter. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Maybe I should have been more clear about this. Basically, all of these pens here are converter fillers. At least all the ones you see here, except for the Beaumont pneumatics, and then these Menlos are all pump fillers. Pretty much all of the other pens fill with a converter. So. Are we bringing any double-ended pearls? You know what? I don't think that we are. I apologize. Usually those double-ended pens, they sell faster than what we can put them into inventory, and we never think about putting them in before the show fast enough. So whenever we make one, it seems like it sells before we get to a show. So for now, you'll probably have to rely on photos. So, all right. Well, hey, unless anybody has any other questions, we'll probably sign off here, and I hope to see everybody at the DC Pen Show. Let me flip my camera around again. There I am. So, anyways, we hope to see you at the DC Pen Show. Like we said, stay tuned for a really cool Brian Summit, Brian Goulet and Brian Gray Summit. We're going to get together and probably do some kind of a Periscope. I think there's a video Q&A that's planned. So I'm real honored that Brian would include me on that. So anyways, tune in. There's going to be some really cool pen stuff happening this week, and I really hope you can make it to the DC Pen Show. Make sure to stop by and say hi. All right? Take care, everybody.